The United States have made it through the Gold Cup group stages unscathed, unbeaten, unblemished. So why aren't we doing backflips? Well, we certainly know why. A long way to go for this somewhat experimental U.S. men's national team. I know we all hope it looks a lot different by the time we take the field next summer at the World Cup. But we'll take the good, we'll take a little bit of the bad, and we will vet out as much as we can here on a abbreviated Soccer OG. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumb, hit the like button, leave a comment. I love the discourse, whether it is a comment, a question, or a complaint. I am here for you as we talk about U.S. soccer. Now, there's a lot not to like about the Gold Cup. Empty stadiums. I mean, there are people that are cashing checks on social media just putting photos of empty stadiums from the Gold Cup. It's all they do. There's this weird fascination. I get it. U.S. soccer has dropped the ball, not only with the lack of fans, but also with these giant stadiums that really should not be fielding games like USA Haiti or what have you. Even the Mexico game against Costa Rica, a lot of empty seats there in Las Vegas. I have an idea for U.S. soccer. I know it's all about the bottom line, but what they really have to do is create a ticket sales office. And you have 30 people working there. They get on the phone. Everywhere the U.S. plays, you get on the phone and you fill that stadium up. I know this might be crazy talk, but we're at a point where U.S. soccer can't keep taking hits and having empty stadiums. You get on, you give free tickets, you give free beverages, popcorn, I don't care. But you get on the phone and you get people to come out. You build a department. That is important. No more of this, all right? But we're not going to talk about it because it is where it is. Right now, the priority's got to be getting the best possible product, because if the United States play well, then in turn, fans will come. Right now, they don't even know that this is going on, and certainly no one's watching the Gold Cup. We've had the Club World Cup going on, and I think most eyeballs, including mine, have been set on that because it's been outstanding. I think the Club World Cup, a tournament that people fought a lot and said, I'm not going to watch, has won over so many people, and it's because of the fan culture. This tournament is going to keep coming back, and it is going to get better, and believe it or not, it's going to close ground on the regular World Cup. I kid you not. Mark my words. But let's get back to the Gold Cup and the United States. And yeah, we know we're missing a lot of key players from injuries, for players resting. We've talked about it. Let's focus on this group and see what we can take out of this experience for the United States. So they beat Trinidad and Tobago convincingly. They beat Saudi Arabia, a bit of a grind, and they grinded again against Haiti, but found a way to win it. So 3 wins out of 3, you can't do much better than that. Yeah, you can blow the doors out of the stadiums here, but that's just not feasible. Great teams don't blow everybody out. Sometimes they gotta work for it. You get to face a lot of things. That is the beauty of a tournament and the group stages. So we can't sit here and complain about the U.S. It has not been phenomenal, but they did what they were supposed to do. Now the hard part, as they get to the knockouts, they are going to face Costa Rica in the quarterfinals. Costa Rica looks much improved under the eye of Miguel El Piojo Herrera, the Mexican coaching legend, somewhat playing legend. I remember back in his playing days, he was a bit of a crazy man, as he is as a coach, but pretty good player. That's going to be next Sunday at the stadium where the Vikings play. So, I don't know. I mean, they got 20,000 for the game against Haiti at Arlington, Texas, which is going to be a heavily used stadium. Even if the U.S. was popular, even if their first team players were here, they're not going to be drawing 50,000 fans. So you've got to be creative about this. But the Gold Cup, I mean, we can sit here and argue and waste our breath. It hasn't changed over the years. It's not going to change now. We can only hope one day, baby steps, that we get towards that. We're not here to talk about the U.S. flaws, about how we do soccer, but let's talk about this team. So they're going to get Costa Rica, and it's going to be a firm challenge. This Costa Rica team have a lot of suspensions. So they're going to be shorthanded, but they still have Keylor Navas. They have Alonso Martinez, who's a game winner. They held Mexico. They played well in the groups. They finished second. They have a lot of European or non-Costa Rican-based players. So and a coach they're paying a lot of money. So Costa Rica can beat the United States. And you've got to do everything in your power. Because this is almost a Mexico quarterfinal, that you've got to get through Costa Rica because you want to be in that Final Four. And we'll talk about who I believe the favorites are. Quickly about this team, we know there's going to be maybe 3 or 4 guys I think there are 3 guys that are potentially 4 starting on this Gold Cup roster that would start the World Cup opener in a year's time. It's Chris Richards, it's Tyler Adams, and it is potentially Malik Tillman, who has frustrated me beyond belief but gotten a little better as this tournament has gone. He is a tremendously athletic player, technically gifted, might be heading to Bayer Leverkusen, I believe I was hearing. So that'll help his status. He has taken the most out of this. Chris Richards was a guy I was very critical of because, and by the way, he looks just like the late Thin Lizzy frontman Phil Lynott. I mean, it is crazy, the similarities. That's just silly. But Chris Richards has become a leader. Chris Richards has become just a guy who, you almost can play him as a back 3. He's everywhere. He does everything well. He scored a goal. This is an important detail. I know it's the Gold Cup competition, but he did pretty well in those friendlies prior to that. Chris Richards is a guy that I trust now. I couldn't have said that a year ago. I trust him. Wherever he goes, he's one of our leaders. This is the biggest story because we needed that lockdown center back, and it's going to be Chris Richards. Who plays alongside him is a question. And the closer we get to the World Cup, the more I think it's going to be Tim Ream again. And Chris Richards can cover some of the ground that Tim Ream can't. So whatever works. And then the fullbacks, we'll wait and see. Hopefully it's healthy Anthony Robinson and Serginho Dest. Serginho Dest is a big question mark. Alex Freeman's been all right. So still too green to put in a World Cup, but certainly he can make the roster. And then that's what it's going to look like. Now I said Richards, Tyler Adams, and Malik Tillman. The 4th is Matt Freese, who's become the #1 keeper. And keep in mind, he's there because Mauricio Pochettino likes him. Matt Freese made a pretty bad gaffe against Haiti, but otherwise he's been pretty good. The lesser of all evils, I mean, Matt Turner looks like he's on the outs, and then who else could you possibly put in there? It is Matt Freese's job to lose. Zach Steffen wasn't there. A couple other keepers are injured. Matt Freese, we talked about benefiting the Gold Cup. Matt Freese is at the top of that, along with Chris Richards and a couple other guys. So that is, it's not perfect, but it is what it is. We don't have the goalkeeper era of Tim Howard and Casey Keller and Brad Friedel, where at one point we were producing the best goalkeepers in the world. We are not. We're going to have to settle. And hopefully a guy who just doesn't make mistakes and makes those big saves, and hopefully we have a good defense in front of him, which I think we could. So we move forward. Malik Tillman, if everybody is here and ready to go, I mean, Christian Pulisic you put in there, Tim Weah you probably put in there, Flo Balogun, where is there room for Malik Tillman? Probably isn't any room, but maybe he is that first guy off the bench. Maybe he can start, again, according to Mauricio Pochettino, he's gotten quite smitten with Malik Tillman, and we cannot emphasize enough spending a month together with Pochettino and this staff a year out of the World Cup is invaluable, and Malik Tillman is benefiting from that. I know a lot of American players probably wish, a lot of American players on those margins are probably wishing they had that. Maybe some of the players that are already locked into the starting 11. I think of a guy like Joe Scally, or who could you, maybe Tim Weah is a guy like that could have their position in some distress because they're not here, because other guys seize the moment. We'll wait and see about that. I think we get 4 guys on this Gold Cup roster that start the opener in the World Cup. Probably 3, maybe 2. As for the other guys, they're all trying to get on that World Cup roster. I've liked what I've seen from Sebastian Berhalter. Great free kick player. He's not going to take that food off the plate of Christian Pulisic, but a guy who gets out there and certainly acts like he belongs. Quinn Sullivan was really maybe the best player in that in many ways, outside of Chris Richards, who's our best player in every game. Dida Rabona put Patrick Agyemang through a few times. Quinn Sullivan, I think, has put his hand up in a big way. Luca De La Torre, his body of work over these 5-6 games, maybe. But it's been good, man. And if they beat Costa Rica and they can get beyond there a little bit more, this would have been viewed as a success. Before I talk about the tournament, I want to say something about Patrick Agyemang and just how disappointed I am when I go on social media. I know that's not all the U.S. fans, but some of the things that are said about a player that they don't approve of is just truly disgusting. Comparing Patrick Agyemang to Bambi or a newborn giraffe or whatever this is, poking fun at him for a guy who just scored the game-winning goal for your country. You can be critical, but you cannot be mean. And all of you are mean. And from accounts that you read, it's like, what are you doing? This is one of our guys. And he reads this stuff. It's shameful that we would put him through that. And I got to tell you, I watched the game and I watched the highlights, and Patrick Agyemang is in on everything. Is he technically gifted? No. Did he fall over? Yes, on one occasion. Did he miss chances? Sure, but man, he sure picks up a lot more than some other guys. Flo Balogun's are 1. Ricardo Pepi's are 2. Josh Sargent, I've sat there and waited for him to score. Haji Wright, I don't know what, I don't need to see any more of Haji Wright. Patrick Agyemang has a claim to be the third striker for the United States if we take 3 strikers, which I don't think we will. And clearly Mauricio Pochettino likes him. So when Mauricio Pochettino is playing him every game and playing him 90 minutes, I'm going to take his opinion over Schlep Boy, who is poking fun at somebody who's trying to make our country better. Just be critical and stop picking on people. So there you have it. So I like Patrick. I look at it and I go, all right, it's not the prettiest execution, but man, he's getting through and getting through and getting through. And he scored the goal. And he scores goals at a high clip. I know it's not great opposition, but it's better than what I've seen from these other guys who don't score and don't get chances on goal. The Gold Cup, Mexico's looked okay. Canada looked good, came down to earth when they messed around with their lineup. I think we have 4 good teams in the region. USA, Mexico, Canada, Panama have moved ahead of the pack. Maybe Costa Rica can close a little bit. Maybe, I don't know who else. Honduras, fallen off. But the most consistent team, I'm recording this before their final game, is the Panamanian effort. And they've been so close to winning a Gold Cup. They're going to win one or win a major competition. They got to the final of the Nations League. They got to the final of the last Gold Cup. Eventually, you're going to win one. I tend to think this is their year. But we'll see. One step at a time. USA, I don't know if we learned a whole lot, but there is something to benefit out of this. Let's watch the Gold Cup. Let's be positive. You can be critical, but don't poke fun. Soccer OG, like and subscribe. We'll be here all summer and next summer.